Okay, so the big picture is that the extension of the first Trump administration's 2017 tax cuts are now made permanent. They were supposed to go away at the end of this year. That's why you heard about, oh, there's a big tax increase. It was actually part of that first Trump tax cut. So those extensions are now made permanent. Now, in addition, there are some temporary benefits that are also included. To pay for a good portion of this bill, there are huge cuts to Medicaid, which is the nation's plan for health care for lower-income Americans, about 72 million of them, and also cuts to SNAP, that is food stamps. So there is a clear winner and loser in that if you pay taxes, a lot of your tax rates are going to be extended forward. But if you rely on the government, you could see big changes in your life.
Who really loses in this particular case?
I think if you
and there are a lot of winners, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
But I think that if you look at the losers, because I like to kind of get the bad news out up front, which is we have about the lower 20% of earners in the U.S. that's making maybe less than $18,000. Now, these folks don't pay federal taxes in a big way, so having a tax cut doesn't help them, but they do rely on benefits. These folks are expected, according to the nonpartisan Penn-Wharton budget model, they are expected to lose 2.9% of their income, which amounts to about almost $900. That's a lot if you're only making $18,000. So the lower end tends to be the big loser potentially in this bill.
What about middle income earners?
Now, this is a weird thing because there's a nuance in this. Overall, according to Penn budget model, there won't be a big change. But if you are somebody who relies on tips for income, you are happy. There is going to be a change. There won't be as much of a tax levied on tips if you rely on overtime. If you are a homeowner in a high-tax state like California, New York, New Jersey, those were states that had limitations on their state and local tax deduction. Those deductions are actually going to be expanded, but these are temporary in nature. So I want to be clear about that. If you're borrowing money to buy a car, you're going to have a temporary reprieve. You'll be able to write off some of the interest. If you have children or dependents, we talked about this, some of those tax credits are made a little bit better. And there's this special credit if you have a baby born in the next few years where you're going to get $1,000 in an account. So if you fall into one of those categories, great. But if you're a middle-class person and you don't fall into one of those categories, you're sort of like, well, what's in it for me? And maybe not that much.